Discussion on verses 1 to 3 of 3. When the sons of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, passed away, and he was left with only daughters, the leaders among the non-believers of Mecca mocked him by claiming that his lineage had been cut off and that his name would soon be forgotten after his death. As a result, Allah, the Exalted, revealed chapter 108 Al-Kawthar, verses 1 to 3.
Indeed, we have granted you an abundance of good. So pray to your Lord and offer sacrifice to him alone. Indeed, your enemy is the one cut off.
This has been discussed in Imam al-Wahidi's Asbab al-Nuzul 108-1-3, page 166. These verses teach a profound principle of perspective and reliance upon Allah, the Exalted. Instead of focusing on the insult and the apparent loss that was being used to mock the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, the divine response redirects attention toward the vast and ongoing blessings granted by Allah, the Exalted. The emphasis is not placed on grief or retaliation, but on gratitude, worship, and trust in divine wisdom. This demonstrates that apparent worldly loss does not define a person's true honor or outcome. From this guidance, it is understood that gratitude is not merely an emotional feeling, but a comprehensive state of being. In intention, it means that actions are performed solely for the pleasure of Allah, the Exalted, without seeking recognition from creation. In speech, it involves expressing goodness, avoiding harmful or futile speech, and maintaining dignity in communication. In action, it means using every blessing, whether wealth, health, time, or opportunity, in ways that align with divine guidance found in the Holy Quran and the traditions of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. In this way, gratitude becomes a practical system of life rather than a temporary sentiment. It is therefore important for a person to develop a constructive and positive mindset when facing difficulties, as this plays a significant role in maintaining obedience to Allah, the Exalted. Hardship should not be viewed in isolation, but within a broader understanding of life's tests and hidden wisdoms. A person is encouraged to recognize that any difficulty could have been greater, and that being spared from worse trials is itself a form of blessing. Likewise, worldly hardship should not overshadow the far greater concern of maintaining one's faith, as spiritual harm is more severe than temporary worldly discomfort. Instead of becoming overwhelmed by immediate sadness, a person is encouraged to reflect on future reward and long-term outcomes promised for those who show patience for the sake of Allah, the Exalted. When a loss occurs, it is beneficial to also reflect on the many blessings that remain, rather than focusing only on what has been taken away. This balanced reflection helps preserve inner stability and prevents despair from taking root. In this way, even difficult moments become opportunities for spiritual growth and renewed awareness of divine mercy. Chapter 2 Al-Baqarah, verse 216.
But perhaps you hate a thing and it is good for you, and perhaps you love a thing and it is bad for you. And Allah knows while you know not.
This verse establishes that human understanding is limited, while divine wisdom encompasses all outcomes. What appears undesirable may contain hidden benefit, and what appears desirable may contain harm. Recognizing this principle helps a person approach life with humility, patience, and trust in Allah, the Exalted. By reflecting on these principles consistently, a person develops a balanced outlook that protects them from despair during hardship and arrogance during ease. This mindset allows difficulties to be processed with patience and gratitude rather than frustration, leading to greater inner stability and stronger moral conduct. In this way, life is seen not merely as a series of losses and gains, but as a structured path of tests and blessings designed to refine character and strengthen reliance upon Allah, the Exalted. In order for a person to remain firm upon obedience to Allah, the Exalted, in both ease and hardship, it is necessary to develop a state of certainty in faith. Without this certainty, a person's commitment may fluctuate depending on circumstances, desires, and external pressures. Chapter 108 Al-Kawthar, verse 2.
So pray to your Lord and sacrifice.
Strong and stable faith is developed when a person actively seeks knowledge and applies it in practice. This includes learning the clear teachings found within the Holy Quran and the traditions of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, and reflecting on how these teachings guide a person toward moral conduct, self-discipline, and inner peace. When a person observes, through knowledge and experience, that obedience to Allah, the Exalted, leads to clarity of purpose and tranquility of heart, their certainty becomes stronger and more rooted. By contrast, when a person remains distant from Islamic knowledge, their understanding of faith becomes weaker and more vulnerable to change. In such a state, they are more likely to prioritize immediate desires over long-term spiritual benefit. When personal inclinations conflict with moral responsibility, this lack of understanding may lead them to choose disobedience, as they do not fully perceive the harm of following unchecked desires or the benefit of restraining them for the sake of Allah, the Exalted. This is why the development of certainty requires both learning and consistent action. Knowledge alone is insufficient if it is not applied, and action without understanding may lack direction. When both are combined, a person begins to recognize the wisdom behind divine guidance and experiences the stabilizing effect of aligning their life with it. This includes the proper use of blessings such as time, wealth, health, and relationships, ensuring they are directed toward what is beneficial and morally sound according to Islamic teachings. As this process continues, a person gradually attains a more balanced mental and physical state. Their priorities become more organized, their emotions more regulated, and their decisions more thoughtful. People and responsibilities are placed in their proper positions within their life, rather than being driven by impulse or imbalance. This produces a form of inner peace that is rooted in clarity of purpose and consistency of action. Ultimately, certainty in faith functions as a foundation for stability in both spiritual and worldly life. It enables a person to remain firm in obedience to Allah, the Exalted, regardless of changing circumstances, and protects them from being swayed by temporary desires. Through knowledge, reflection, and practice, a person develops the ability to live in alignment with divine guidance, which leads to lasting peace of mind in both worlds. As indicated in verse 2, an essential component of strong faith is the establishment of prayer. Chapter 108 Al-Kawthar, verse 2.
So pray to your Lord.
Establishing the obligatory prayers is repeatedly emphasized in Islamic teachings, because prayer serves as the foundation of a person's spiritual discipline and moral stability. It is through prayer that a person regularly renews their awareness of accountability, strengthens sincerity, and recenters their life around obedience to Allah, the Exalted. However, true prayer is not limited to physical movements or outward form. It is an act of deep reflection, humility, and conscious awareness that links the worshipper to the reality of the hereafter. This inward dimension is strengthened when a person understands that each posture within prayer carries meaning and serves as a reminder of ultimate accountability before Allah, the Exalted. For this reason, the 5 daily prayers are distributed throughout the day, providing repeated opportunities for reflection, correction, and renewal of intention. When a person stands in prayer, it can remind them of the standing before Allah, the Exalted, on the Day of Judgment. Chapter 83 Al-Mutaffifin, verses 4-6.
Do they not think that they will be resurrected? For a tremendous day, the day when mankind will stand before the Lord of the worlds.
When a person bows in prayer, it symbolizes humility and submission, and it can also serve as a reminder of those who refuse to submit in their worldly lives. Chapter 77 Al-Mursalat, verse 48.
And when it is said to them, bow in prayer, they do not bow.
This highlights that refusal to bow is not only a physical rejection, but also reflects a deeper unwillingness to submit to divine guidance in daily life. Thus, bowing in prayer becomes a reminder of the importance of humility and obedience in all aspects of conduct. When a person prostrates, it represents the highest level of humility and submission. It also serves as a reminder of the reality that on the Day of Judgment, some will be unable to prostrate due to their rejection of obedience in this life. Chapter 68 Al-Kalam, verses 42-43.
On the day when matters become dire, they will be invited to prostrate themselves but will be prevented from doing so. Their eyes humbled, humiliation will cover them. And they used to be invited to prostration while they were sound.
When a person sits during prayer, it can remind them of the kneeling state described for humanity on the Day of Judgment. Chapter 45 Al-Jatiyah, verse 28.
And you will see every nation kneeling from fear. Every nation will be called to its record and told, "Today you will be recompensed for what you used to do."
When prayer is performed with this level of awareness and reflection, it becomes a means of true spiritual development. It strengthens discipline, increases humility, and reinforces the consciousness of accountability. This in turn influences behavior outside of prayer, helping a person remain obedient to Allah, the Exalted, throughout daily life. Chapter 29, Al-Ankabut, verse 45.
Indeed, prayer prohibits immorality and wrongdoing.
In this manner, prayer that is performed with proper understanding and sincerity serves as a safeguarding influence, directing a person away from immoral behavior and guiding them towards righteous conduct. This includes the responsible use of all blessings granted by Allah, the Exalted, in accordance with the guidance set out in the Holy Quran and the traditions of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. Chapter 108, Al-Kawthar, verse 2.
So pray to your Lord and sacrifice.
By doing so, a person is enabled to develop a balanced mental and physical condition, while also placing every aspect of their life, including relationships, responsibilities, and resources, in its correct position. At the same time, this approach ensures meaningful preparation for accountability on the Day of Judgment. As a result, such a way of life leads to genuine peace of mind in both this world and the hereafter. In general, when a person chooses a path different from those around them, especially in matters of belief and conduct, it can sometimes lead others to experience discomfort or insecurity about their own choices. This is particularly the case when those choices are based more on personal desire and social expectation, rather than on obedience to Allah, the Exalted. As a result, individuals may respond with criticism or pressure toward those who remain firm upon their faith, and this can even occur within families where differences in values become more apparent. In addition, wider societal influences such as social media trends, fashion culture, and prevailing norms can create strong pressure on those who strive to uphold Islamic principles. In many environments, the promotion of Islamic values is seen as a challenge to lifestyles that prioritize wealth, status, and unrestricted personal freedom. As a result, aspects of life that are associated with entertainment, consumerism, or other interest-based industries may indirectly discourage adherence to Islamic teachings, as these teachings call for moderation, responsibility, and accountability before Allah, the Exalted. Those who attempt to live according to Islamic guidance are often encouraged to regulate their desires and use blessings responsibly, rather than pursuing excess without restraint. Because of this, they may face negative reactions from individuals who are more inclined toward indulgence and immediate gratification. Such responses can include attempts to discourage religious commitment or to promote alternative lifestyles based on unrestricted desire. In some cases, specific aspects of Islamic practice are singled out for criticism in an effort to weaken their influence or discourage adherence. An example often raised is the Islamic guidance related to modest dress for women, which is criticized, while similar scrutiny is not consistently applied to uniforms or dress codes in other professions such as law enforcement, healthcare, the military, education, or corporate environments. This selective focus can indicate inconsistency in the criticism, where the issue is not the concept of dress codes in general, but rather disagreement with the moral principles behind Islamic guidance. In all circumstances, a person is encouraged to remain firm in sincere obedience to Allah, the Exalted, recognizing that such steadfastness brings inner stability and protection from harmful external influences. Chapter 108, Al-Kawthar, verse 2.
So pray to your Lord and sacrifice.
This firmness is not always immediately rewarded in visible or material terms, but it contributes to long-term clarity of purpose, emotional balance, and moral consistency. Through this, a person learns to use the blessings granted to them in a responsible and purposeful manner, ensuring that priorities, relationships, and responsibilities are properly aligned. Such an approach supports the development of a balanced mental and physical state, where life is not governed by external pressure or social approval, but by consistent principles grounded in accountability before Allah, the Exalted. This also helps a person prepare for the Day of Judgment, as actions become guided by long-term awareness rather than short-term influence. As a result, greater inner calm is achieved, and a sense of direction is maintained in both ease and difficulty. In contrast, when a person prioritizes the approval of others over obedience to Allah, the Exalted, it can lead to internal instability. The misuse or misplacement of blessings may follow, as decisions become driven by external expectations rather than moral guidance. Over time, this contributes to emotional strain, confusion in priorities, and difficulty in maintaining balance in personal life. Even when material comfort is present, it will not bring lasting peace, as true tranquility is closely linked to alignment with purpose, responsibility, and accountability before Allah, the Exalted. Chapter 108 Al-Kawthar, verse 3.
Indeed, your enemy is the one cut off.
Therefore, a person is urged to fully embrace and continuously act upon the teachings of Islam for their own benefit, even when doing so requires them to overcome personal desires or immediate impulses. Their approach should be similar to that of a rational and confident patient who places complete trust in a skilled physician. Such a patient understands that a course of treatment may feel difficult, uncomfortable, or restrictive, yet still accepts it because it is recognized as necessary for healing and long-term well-being. In the same way, divine guidance may occasionally go against habit or personal preference, but it is ultimately intended for a person's true welfare. Just as a disciplined patient restores physical health and achieves mental stability by following medical instruction, a person who adheres to divine guidance attains clarity of thought, emotional steadiness, and inner peace. This is because only Allah, the Exalted, possesses perfect and complete knowledge of human nature and what is required for a person to live a balanced and meaningful existence. With this perfect knowledge, every blessing, responsibility, and relationship is arranged in its proper place, preventing imbalance, excess, and neglect. Human knowledge, regardless of how far it advances, remains inherently limited. Even with significant development in areas such as psychology, biology, and the study of human behavior, human beings are still unable to fully resolve every problem or eliminate all forms of emotional distress, instability, or hardship. Human judgment is always influenced by limited experience, incomplete awareness, and personal bias. For this reason, human systems may offer partial benefit, but they cannot provide complete guidance for every circumstance or guarantee lasting inner harmony. In contrast, Allah, the Exalted, possesses absolute and unrestricted knowledge, and has already conveyed through the Holy Quran and the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, everything a person needs in order to live a purposeful and balanced life. The distinction between those who follow divine guidance and those who turn away from it can often be observed in their behavior and in the outcomes of their decisions. Those who align themselves with Islamic teachings tend to display greater emotional stability, clearer judgment, and a more structured approach to life, even during periods of difficulty. In contrast, those who disregard these principles frequently experience confusion, inner conflict, and a lack of direction, even when they appear to enjoy outward comfort or success. This contrast demonstrates that true order is not merely external, but is deeply connected to how a person aligns their life with divine instruction. Although a patient may not understand the scientific reasoning behind a medical prescription, they still trust the expertise of the physician. However, Allah, the Exalted, does not require blind acceptance without thought. Rather, He calls upon people to reflect, reason, and observe the signs within themselves and throughout the world around them. Faith is therefore grounded in understanding and sincerity, not unthinking imitation. Chapter 12 Yusuf, verse 108.
Say, this is my way, I invite to Allah with insight, I and those who follow me.
Furthermore, Allah, the Exalted, alone has complete control over the inner condition of a person, including their emotions and sense of tranquility. Chapter 53 and Najm, verse 43.
And that it is He who makes one laugh and weep.
This reality shows that lasting inner peace cannot be secured through external circumstances alone, but is ultimately granted by Allah, the Exalted. It is closely tied to how a person utilizes the blessings entrusted to them, and whether those blessings are directed in accordance with divine guidance. Those who live in harmony with this guidance generally experience greater stability, purpose, and emotional balance, whereas those who neglect or misuse these blessings often fall into confusion, inner unrest, and dissatisfaction. In conclusion, true peace, whether of mind, body, or spirit, can only be attained through sincere alignment with the guidance of Allah, the Exalted. This involves recognizing that divine guidance is not a restriction upon life, but a framework through which life is organized, given meaning, and brought into harmony in both this world and the life to come. Chapter 16 and Nahl, verse 97.
Whoever does righteousness, whether male or female, while he is a believer, we will surely cause him to live a good life, and we will surely give them their reward in the hereafter according to the best of what they used to do.
All praise is due to Allah, Lord of the worlds, and may peace and blessings be upon His final messenger, Muhammad, his noble family and companions.